Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We want to get directly to the phones. We've got Dr. Rollo, the Superintendent of Lubbock ISD, on the phone, and we got a lot going on at Lubbock ISD. Dr. Rollo, how are you doing this morning?
I am great. How are you today?
I'm doing very, very well. It's Tuesday morning. Everybody thinks I'm evil, but that's okay.
Well, I'm actually calling you from San Antonio. I'm here for the state swim and dive meet.
Hey.
Wow, that's good.
It's
That's great news. How are we doing at the state swim and dive meet?
Well, they divided it this year to keep the crowd size smaller, and so the men were on Saturday, and Coronado senior Rhett Hensley took home the silver medal in diving, so that was great. And our Lubbock High men earned their first ever state banner by achieving 5th place as a team. So really great. And then the women are today, so we're looking forward to that. Last year, the women at Lubbock High won state, so we're hoping to bring home that gold medal again.
Oh, that's great news. Listen, this reminds me, this is kind of a touchy subject, but it's on a lot of people's minds, and that is transgender, particularly men participating in female sports. I don't know if you've given that a lot of thought, but I just wonder. There's a lot of talk about how this is going to change women's sports, and there's a lot of pushback on this. What are your thoughts about this, Dr. Rollo?
Well, right now the UIL does not allow that, so we are following those guidelines.
Yeah, that goes by the state of Texas, right?
Yes, that's correct.
But apparently, I guess there's a national push that would force them to accept that. I suppose. I don't know, and I'm surprised to hear that the UIL. You're talking about Texas, right?
Yes, Texas University.
They do not accept that in Texas.
No. Now we have some girls who play football, and we have some girls who are playing baseball. So we do allow students to play sports that are traditionally reserved for the other sex. So that does take place. But as far as if you offer track to males and females, right now you have to play according to your birth certificate.
Yeah. So now, Dr. Rollo, let's talk a little bit about the new Coronado football coach. That's the big thing as far as I've seen in the news. It was a big deal that we had a coach move on, and it also a big deal that we have a new coach there. Could you tell us a little bit about Coach Mann?
Yes. Well, first of all, we're really excited to welcome Coach Mann home to Lubbock. He's actually a Coronado graduate. He went to school at Coronado, so that is definitely close to his heart. His parents still live in Lubbock, so he's really coming back home. After he left Coronado, he played for West Texas, and then after that, he has coached in several places, but his most recent experience was at Cedar Hill ISD, at Cedar Hill High School, and he was offensive coordinator as well as recruiting coordinator and quarterback coach. And so we're really excited to welcome him home, and he's going to bring a lot to the Coronado program.
Yeah.
That's good news.
Yeah. And now, right now, are there any? The football team's not really going to get started, but I guess they've got spring practice and stuff like that coming up. Is he starting right now, or is this something that he's starting, in the spring, in next fall? When does he actually start?
His actual first day is next week.
Okay.
So he is starting now. We do have spring sports. He is not only just the football coach, but he'll be the athletic coordinator for Coronado. So he'll oversee all sports. So he's ready to get on board and starts March the 8th.
Excellent.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Dr. Rollo, we have the District 3 Trustee Replacement procedure. Tell us what's up with that and how that's going.
Well, Ben Webb, who was serving as our trustee for District 3, was appointed as County Court of Law Number 3 judge.
Yeah, and congratulations to him.
Yes, we're very excited. We will miss him terribly in his board service, but very excited he's still continuing to serve the community in that way, and he'll do an outstanding job. But that left a vacancy for us. We had multiple applications submitted to us. They were due last Wednesday. Our board reviewed those, and we'll be interviewing in the near future and hopefully appointing someone on March the 11th.
Well, tell me this. what are the qualifications that one would need, and how? And is it too late for more people to send in an application? And what are the requirements?
Well, first and foremost, they must live in that attendance zone, that District 3 zone, and that map can be found on our website. But yes, the applications were due on Wednesday of last week, so it is too late for this point. The person who is appointed, if they choose to, we hope they will run for re-election, or not re-election, but run for election at the May 2022 election time.
Yeah. So, Dr. Rollo, speaking of dates and everything, my kids, we're looking at getting them possibly back into Lubbock ISD for the next school year. Now that things have kind of settled down as far as the coronavirus and everything, what are the dates that you would register kids for getting back into Lubbock ISD?
Well, online registration opens in the very near future. In fact, it may actually be open right now. I know kindergarten registration, online registration for next year is open right now. So other grade levels may be as well. I'm not certain on that, but if they're not open now, they will be very soon. And then pre-K registration will actually kick off on April the 9th. We will have that open online, but we'll also have a drive-through event on that Friday to help families get their pre-K students registered, pre-K and kindergarten students registered.
Yeah, and I want to make sure people understand that's different than the transfer dates. The transfer dates are earlier if you were wanting to, let's say, get your kid into a different transfer from one school to another, put them into Talkington or something like that. Those dates are over. This is just getting into Lubbock ISD or registering a kindergartner or pre-K.
Yes, it's just for your home school, yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's, it's 7:14, Dr. Rollo. I'm going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we'll come back. We got a lot to talk about. So, Dr. Rollo, thank you for being on. We're speaking with Dr. Rollo, Superintendent of Lubbock ISD. We're going to take a quick break on News Talk 95.1 FM, 790 AM, KFYO. Welcome back to Mornings with Dave King and Matt Martin. We've got Dr. Rollo, the Superintendent of Lubbock ISD, on the phones. And Dr. Rollo, I just because it's been all over the news, I just wanted to ask a question. Is Lubbock ISD celebrating Women's History Month?
That's a great question. I'm sure we will have some things on our social media sites and websites about Women's History Month, but I'm not sure what those plans are.
I'm sure that the classes are doing something. I mean, they usually do, but I was just wondering what LISD had going on.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, we have pre-K and kindergarten recruitment efforts underway. What are we doing in that respect?
Well, this year is more important than ever. Our pre-K and kindergarten numbers we're down in Lubbock ISD as well as across the state this year, and we feel like a lot of parents were just hesitant to start school because of the virus. And so we have sent out mailers. We're doing quite a bit of media blitz around our pre-K and kindergarten programming and hoping our parents will get their students enrolled.
Well, I'll tell you, kindergarten. I think kindergarten teachers are going to. Actually, for even first grade teachers are going to could have a hard time this year because if kids weren't in kindergarten and they weren't getting taught during that time period, then they're going to start in first grade and they're going to be behind.
Yes, there's definitely going to be some learning gaps, and so we're hoping that our parents will get their students enrolled so that we can quickly begin to fill those gaps.
Luckily, they catch up pretty quick in kindergarten.
They do. They do. If you can get them in, that's a great thing.
Dr. Rollo, fill us in on, I guess it is still a law that the children must be enrolled in school, is it not?
Yes, it is compulsory.
It's compulsory, and that's, I guess, a state of Texas rule. But that goes through which grade?
It starts actually in first grade, but we really strongly encourage that parents will enroll their students in pre-K and kinder.
Yeah. So let me ask you about COVID-19. First off, y'all went through one heck of a week. What was it? 2 weeks ago. y'all had to close everything down because of electrical issues as well as because of road hazards and whatnot. How did everything go, and did that go smoothly after, I mean, were the kinks worked out as far as that's concerned?
Well, we truly feel blessed. Lubbock ISD fared very well compared to many of our sister and brother districts across the state. So we were working very closely with the city of Lubbock and Atmos Energy and realized that we needed to help be a part of the conservation effort. We were able to keep our buildings heated, but we turned those set points way down so that our pipes didn't freeze, but we were still helping with the conservation effort. And it ended up that we canceled school. We were already going to be closed on Monday for a holiday, but we ended up canceling school Tuesday through Friday to help in that effort. And I really am proud because I think Lubbock fared well. And our buildings, with the exception of just a few minor pipe bursts, really did well.
So are the kids going to have to make up that week up? I mean, are they canceling spring break or anything?
That is a very good question, and the answer to that is no. We are not going to have to make those days up. The state gave us the opportunity to apply for a waiver, and our board approved that last Thursday, and that waiver has been sent in to TEA, so we will not make up those days. We are not canceling spring break simply because a lot of families had already made plans for spring break. And this has just been a very challenging year with all of the COVID protocols and students moving in and out of virtual instruction due to quarantine. So that spring break will give everybody a much-needed rest. Our teachers were still working and planning from home during the weather event.
So as far as COVID-19 testing, have most of your teachers, especially those over 65, been able to get a vaccination if they wanted it?
Well, we hope so because the City of Lubbock Health Department has given Lubbock ISD 200 appointments each week for the last several weeks. And so we have encouraged our employees to sign up and get those vaccinations. We really don't have a way to track whether or not a teacher has or has not received that vaccination, but we have strongly encouraged it, and those appointments have been filled each week. So we know a lot of people are taking advantage of that.
So with the, and I don't know if this is something y'all have discussed at all or not, but with the mask mandate, I guess a lot of people are hoping that's going to be released by next year. Has there been any talk of what next year's going to look like at this point as far as the school system?
Well, as far as masks and those kinds of things, we are hoping and praying that we'll be able to relax some of those standards that we have in place right now. But, of course, we'll work very closely with our medical advisory team and the City of Lubbock Health Department to make those decisions based on what the data looks like at that point. Our data looks really good right now. We've had less than 5 cases all the way to 0 cases for the last 2 weeks. So our numbers look really, really good, which mirror the cities.
That's what I was going to say. It kind of goes with what the city's having right now.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So,
Well, fill us in, Dr. Rollo, on how, in general, how things are going this year. I mean, I know it's kind of, this whole past 12 months or so, it's kind of been a train wreck when it comes to education.
I was just thinking, I think the last time I was there with you guys in person was a year ago. So, it really, we are really proud because we have tried to provide as much normalcy during a crazy school year as possible. We know it has just been unbelievably difficult to follow all of the COVID protocols. But again, Lubbock ISD is the largest school that opened on time when we said we would, with a face-to-face option for every child. And it may look a little different, but there are more things about school that look the same as they always have. You go to a campus and you see kids playing on the playground. You go to a campus and see students in classrooms interacting and learning. So while they may be wearing masks and doing things a little differently, a lot of things look the same, which is great.
So we have a question from the text line now. They're wanting to know about the vacant board of trustee position. You talked a little bit about that earlier, and at the same time, I kind of wanted to know what exactly does the board of trustee do that you're trying to fill that position for?
What is the job description?
Yeah, I mean, what do they actually do, the board of trustees?
Okay, so they serve in a governance role. They set policy for the district. They approve policy. They serve as a sounding board as we are making adjustments to our practices. And then their number one job is to hire and and evaluate a superintendent. So as far as the day-to-day operations, that is not what the trustees are involved in. They are more of a governance entity.
Okay. And are they an elected position?
Yes, it is an elected
That's
position.
what I thought. This is a school board then, right?
Yes.
Okay.
When there is a vacancy, then we have the ability to appoint someone, but as soon as the next election cycle rolls around for that position, then that person will have to run for election for that position.
Well, Dr. Rollo, we've run out of time, but thank you so much for calling while you're in San Antonio. I know that that you have a lot going on right now.
Well, thank you so much for having me today.
All right. Dr. Rollo, Superintendent of Lubbock ISD, we want to thank her for calling. We do have to take a quick break, and we'll be right back.